Hey everyone! Have you ever wondered where human language comes from? Like, how did we go from grunts and gestures to poetry, emojis, and memes? Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the evolution of human language. Let's unlock the mysteries of how humans became the ultimate chatterboxes of the animal kingdom. The mysterious beginnings. So, what makes human language so unique? Spoiler alert, it's not just about making sounds. Lots of animals can do that. For instance, dolphins use clicks and whistles to communicate, and bees perform little dances to tell each other where the best flowers are. Pretty cool, right? But here's the catch. Unlike animals, humans can talk about abstract ideas like love, time, or pizza. Early hominids probably started with simple vocalizations. Imagine your prehistoric ancestors grunting to warn about a saber-toothed tiger. Not exactly Shakespeare, but it worked. All right, let's kick things off with a question. What makes human language so special? Animals communicate too, right? Birds sing, wolves howl, and dolphins whistle. But here's the thing. Human language is in a league of its own. Why? Because it's not just about making sounds. It's about meaning, creativity, and infinite possibilities. While animals use communication mainly for survival, like finding food or warning about predators, humans take it a step further. We can talk about abstract ideas, future plans, imaginary worlds, and even things that don't exist, like unicorns or time travel. That's called displacement and creativity, and it's a key feature of human language. But don't underestimate animals. Some of their communication systems are mind-blowing. Take dolphins, for example. They have signature whistles, basically names, to identify each other. Or bees, which perform intricate dances to point their buddies to the best flowers. Talk about teamwork. Still, animal communication is limited. It's often tied to specific situations, like finding food or mating. Unlike humans, animals don't create new words or talk about abstract concepts. So while a dolphin might say, "Hey, that's my fish," it won't debate philosophy with you. Sorry, Aristotle. Now, let's rewind the clock. Imagine being an early hominid. No smartphones, no words, just you and your tribe trying to survive. Communication was mostly grunts, gestures, and facial expressions. Think of it as the earliest form of language prototypes. But here's where it gets interesting. Scientists believe early hominids didn't just grunt randomly. Those sounds probably started to have specific meanings, like warning about danger or signaling where to find food. And over thousands of years, those simple vocalizations paved the way for actual words. Tool use and group hunting played a massive role here. Coordinating complex tasks required more sophisticated communication. So early vocalizations weren't just sounds, they were survival tools. Pretty ingenious, huh? The dawn of language. As humans evolved, so did our need to communicate. Think about it. Tool-making, hunting, and hanging out around the fire required teamwork. That's where symbolic communication came in. It's like the original version of talking it out. And here's the mind-blowing part. The brain regions we use for language also light up when we use tools. Coincidence? Scientists don't think so. Language wasn't just about survival, it was about connection, storytelling, and maybe even cracking a joke or two. The first step toward language wasn't words, it was symbols. Imagine trying to explain where to find food or warn about danger without speech. Early humans solved this by using symbols like cave paintings or gestures. Think of these as humanity's first words, painted, not spoken. These symbols weren't just art, they were tools for survival. A picture of a bison could mean, "Hunt here," while handprints might say, "This is our territory." It was communication at its most primal yet profoundly innovative. But why did humans need to communicate in the first place? The answer lies in tools and teamwork. Hunting, gathering, and tool-making required coordination. You couldn't just grunt and hope your buddy understood. It took a shared system of meaning. Here's the wild part. The same brain regions we use for language are also involved in tool-making. Scientists think the complexity of making tools helped kickstart more advanced communication. In other words, that spear wasn't just a hunting weapon. It was also a conversation starter. As humans became more social, gestures and symbols alone weren't enough. Enter vocalizations. Over time, specific sounds likely started to represent specific things. A growl might mean danger, while a whistle could signal food. These early proto-languages were the building blocks of spoken language. But it wasn't just about survival. Language became a way to connect, share stories, and pass down knowledge. Around the campfire, humans weren't just talking about the hunt, they were creating culture. Storytelling, myths, and traditions all started here. The rise of written language. Fast forward a few thousand years, and humans took a massive leap: written language. Picture this: early humans drawing symbols on cave walls to say, "I was here." These pictograms and ideograms were the start of something big. Over time, alphabets and syllabaries were invented. Why? Because let's be real, drawing detailed pictures takes forever. Written language didn't just make communication easier, it revolutionized civilization. Laws, literature, and Netflix subtitles, all thanks to writing. The first written forms weren't words as we know them. They were pictures. Imagine you're a prehistoric human and you want to leave a message. What do? You draw it. These drawings, called pictograms, were the earliest attempts to record information. But pictures alone couldn't capture complex ideas like emotions or abstract concepts. That's where ideograms came in. These were symbols that represented ideas rather than specific objects. For example, a drawing of an eye might mean vision or watch. Pretty clever, huh? As societies grew, so did their need for more efficient writing systems. Pictograms and ideograms were great, but they were limited. Enter the game changer: alphabets and syllabaries. The Phoenicians are credited with creating the first true alphabet around 1200 BCE. Their system used a small set of symbols to represent sounds. This was revolutionary because it meant you could write anything, not just what you could draw. Alphabets spread like wildfire, influencing cultures around the world. Meanwhile, syllabaries, a system where symbols represent syllables instead of single sounds, emerged in places like Japan and Mesopotamia. Both systems gave people the power to express ideas with precision and speed. Written language didn't just make communication easier, it transformed civilization. Think about it. Laws, literature, history, and science, all preserved because of writing. Without it, knowledge would have to be passed down orally, like an ancient game of telephone. And we all know how that turns out. Writing also helped build empires. It allowed governments to keep records, enforce laws, and communicate across vast distances. And let's not forget, it gave us stories, epics like the Iliad, religious texts, and of course Shakespeare. Talk about a cultural upgrade. Language and culture. Here's where things get even cooler. Language doesn't just help us communicate, it shapes how we think. Did you know some languages don't have words for left and right? They use cardinal directions instead. Talk about always knowing where you are. And let's not forget dialects and accents. From Brooklyn slang to Southern drawls, language gives us cultural flavor. It's a badge of identity that says, this is who we are. Did you know that the language you speak can actually influence how you think? For example, in some indigenous Australian languages, there are no words for left or right. Instead, they use cardinal directions like north and south. This means they always know where they are. It's like having an internal GPS. Languages also shape emotions. Take the Portuguese word saudade, which describes a deep nostalgic longing for something or someone you love. There's no exact English equivalent, but the feeling, universal. Now, let's talk dialects. Ever noticed how someone from New York sounds completely different from someone in Texas or London? That's the beauty of dialects and regional variations. They evolve over time, shaped by geography, history, and even local traditions. Even within the same language, words can take on wildly different meanings. In Britain, boot means the trunk of a car, but in the US, it's a type of shoe. Same word, different world. Language is a cornerstone of cultural identity. It connects people to their history, traditions, and sense of belonging. Think about it. When we hear someone speaking our native tongue, there's an instant sense of connection. It's like saying, "You're one of us." This is why preserving languages is so important. When a language dies, we don't just lose words. We lose stories, knowledge, and a piece of our collective humanity. Let's keep those voices alive. The future of language. So, what's next for language? With technology, we're already seeing new words, emojis, and even languages pop up. AI translation tools might bridge the gaps between cultures, but there's a flip side. Some languages are fading away. That's why preserving linguistic diversity is so important. Every language tells a unique story, and if we lose it, we lose a piece of human history. Let's keep those stories alive. Think about how texting has changed the way we write. Abbreviations like LOL or emojis like convey emotions instantly. They're practically a new dialect, and AI tools are making it easier than ever to break language barriers. But will we lose something in the process? Every generation creates its own way of speaking, and technology is a huge driver of that. Online communities like gamers or social media users are inventing new slang and expressions every day. It's like a linguistic renaissance in real time. But as we create new ways to communicate, we can't forget the old ones. Over 40% of the world's languages are at risk of disappearing. That's more than just a loss of words. It's a loss of entire worldviews and histories. Preserving language diversity isn't just about saving the past. It's about enriching our future. Every language is a unique piece of the human puzzle, and we need them all to see the bigger picture. Language is the story of us, past, present, and future. From shaping our thoughts to defining our culture, it's what makes us human. What do you think the future holds for language? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, keep speaking, keep learning, and keep connecting. Bye for now.